he arrived at the other side in the region of the Gadarenes, 2 demon-possessed men coming from the tombs met him. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. When Jesus stepped ashore, he was met by a demon-possessed man from the town. For a long time this man had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but had lived in the tombs.
A distinction between the Matthew account and that of Mark and Luke is that there were really 2 maniacs who came out to meet Jesus as he disembarked on the eastern shore of the lake, rather than just the one demon possessed of Mark and Luke. How serious a problem is this? If there were 2 of them, there was at least one, wasn't there? Mark and Luke center attention on the more prominent and outspoken of the 2, the one whose demon-possessed occupants called themselves Legion. As a seminary professor, I have occasionally had small elective courses containing only 2 students. In some cases, I remember only one of them with any distinctness, simply because he was the more brilliant and articulate of the 2. If I were to compose a set of memoirs and speak of only one of my 2-student class, I could hardly be charged with contradicting the historical fact that there were actually 2 of them in the elective course. A similar case in the Synoptic Gospels is found in the episode of the healing of Bartimaeus outside Jericho.
2 blind men were sitting by the roadside, and when they heard that Jesus was going by, they shouted, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." As Jesus approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging. Then they came to Jericho. As Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man, Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside begging.
Matthew 20 verse 30 records that Bartimaeus actually had a companion with him who also was blind. Luke 18 verses 3 to 5 does not give any names at all but refers to only one blind beggar. It is Mark 10:46 who spells out his name both in Aramaic, Bartimai, and Greek, Huios Timeu, form. The reason for this emphasis on him, as over against his companion, was that he was the more articulate of the 2. Whatever the differing inclusions or omissions as between the various synoptics, they all agree as to what became of the demonic occupants of the maniacs of Gadara. They were all sent into the nearby herd of swine, and thus permitted to carry out on these ceremonially unclean animals the full destruction of life that had at first been intended for their 2 human victims. The hapless pigs dashed down the cliff into the waters of Gennesaret and were drowned.